Richie and Bodie, that conversation seems to be coming up a little bit more in my YouTube analytics. I did a video about this ages ago, prior to the World Cup, about whether All Blacks should be playing Bodie or Richie at 10. And I guess I didn't put a date on that video, so it's getting a few more views. That was back when he was with the Canes. I thought, let's have a more recent look to see how, based on the Super Rugby Aotearoa form, how these two guys compare. And we'll see who should be the front runner for that number 10 jersey for the All Blacks, because with this North-South game coming up, both these guys are going to be head-to-head, with both in the 10 jerseys for each side. A couple of caveats just before I get started. Based on the data, they both played 7 games. They both played almost the same amount of minutes. I think there was only like 6 minutes difference between the two of them, so I'm not going to adjust anything there. And Richie played all his games at 10, whereas Bodie played most of his at fullback. So that is something to keep in mind. But yeah, we'll have a look at the offensive stats, defensive stats, goal kicking, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, on gut feeling, I get the feeling Richie is just going to absolutely hammer Bodie. But let's have a look and see what the numbers say. So, in terms of the stats, which are about accumulating points, scoring tries, getting conversions, penalty goals, drop kicks, overall points per game, who is the leader? Well, it's Richie. It's Richie by a mile. Richie had 3 tries to Bodie's 1. So, Richie's almost scoring a try every other game. Whereas, conversions. Remember, Aotearoa Black did a lot of the kicking for the Blues. Richie was getting almost 3 conversions a game. He had 18 to Bodie's 6. Penalties, Bodie kicked 2. Richie kicked 16. Again, this is just mainly about kicking duties. One area Bodie does have the wood on. Richie has drop goals. Bodie got 1. So average points per game, you're looking at 3.71 for Bodie and 14.14 for Richie. So I think largely you can look at that and go, well, Aotearoa Black did a lot of the goal kicking, that's fair. Why don't we have a look at the overall goal kicking percentage? Because I remember quite a few games where Richie kicked pretty poorly. So that should be in Bodie's favour, except it's not. According to goalkickers.co.za, which is a good website which analyzes goal kicks, how difficult was the goal kick? Like, was it sideline? Was it straight out in front? But just their overall goal kicking percentage for both these guys shows Richie at 73.9 and Bodie at 61.5. I think D-Mac was their top guy for goal kicks on Super Rugby Aotearoa form. But yeah, so apart from drop goals, Richie takes out every category. Pretty impressive stuff. Right, what about their distribution, their handling, like the passes kicking? Who's getting more involved? Maybe Richie has a bit of an advantage here because he was playing all those games at 10, whereas Bodie was stuck out there at fullback. So passes, Richie made almost double. He was like 22 passes a game, whereas Bodie was at 12 over the course of the competition. But remember, a lot of this is the positional stuff. One area I think Bodie does look pretty good is his kicks from hand. He did have 9.86 per game, whereas Richie was down at 7.71. I seem to remember, especially early on in the Super Rugby Aotearoa season, and correct me if I'm wrong because it's quite some time ago, but Bodie was a very assured boot out there at fullback. Now, he wasn't getting the ball at fullback and doing a D-Mac, I'm going to beat every defender and go length of the field, score a try. He was kicking for touch, getting good meterage, getting the Blues out of trouble. So, yeah, I think that maybe explains a fair bit, especially if you look at his kicks before he went to the 10 jersey are generally a bit higher, like 9 against the Canes in that first game, 13 against the Chiefs, especially that game he was getting us out of lots of trouble, whereas the last 2 games where he played 10, 7 kicks against the Chiefs in that one. So yeah, I mean, Richie's not that far behind, and are you going to measure a guy for 10 jersey by the number of kicks he makes? Probably not, but yeah. Offloads, pretty even, but Richie has more, 1.29 to 1 a game. So Richie made 9 during the comp, Bodie made 7. Try assists, Bodie didn't get a single one. Again, maybe that's partly being at fullback. Probably should compare him to like D-Mac to see the difference there. Richie had 4. And from memory, he was just involved in an absolute bit of everything. So yeah, for the most part, Richie takes out that category as well. But what about errors with the ball, like turnovers conceded? Is Richie a bit more of a risk-reward player? Is Bodie a safer pair of hands? They both had 9 turnovers conceded throughout the comp, so 1.29 per game, so just over one cough up a game. Even Stevens for that one, so nobody is safer than the other. What about doing it themselves? Maybe this is an area that Bodie is gonna electrify things. I'm a Blues man, so I want Bodie to do well. But my gut says, I remember how many average defenders beaten Richie was getting per game, and it was probably second only to Will Jordan. Runs per game, Bodie had 57, Richie had 76, so he averages a couple more runs per game than Bodie. Defenders beaten, Bodie had 15, which is not bad, 2.14 defenders beaten per game, but Richie had 35, which averages at 5 defenders beaten per game, which is just ridiculous. Clean breaks, Bodie's got a bit of gas. He had 4 clean breaks throughout the comp, so 0.57 per game, so one every other game pretty much. And Richie, does he have the same gas? Well, he had 11 clean breaks, 1.57. So, yes, he dominates that one too. Run meters, as you would expect. Well, maybe Bodie gets a few free ones at fullback, right? If he's running it back away from the traffic, he got 267, so 38 run meters a game. Richie had 380, so 54 run meters per game. So pretty dominant. Richie, man, ball in hand, was just an absolute threat. He was setting people up. He was getting the tries himself. Got a meeting to go to in 15 minutes. Let's just snooze that one until we get finished here. A couple more categories. Motorbike going down my driveway. It's all happening. Actually, the last one we'll look at is defensively. Which guy's more solid, which guy's putting in a bit more effort. Now, again, you'd think if Richie's playing 10, he's probably got a bit more traffic coming down his channel than Bodie there at fullback, even if, I remember Bodie getting smoked by Laumapi at one point during the season. But anyway, Bodie with 24 tackles. He missed 9. Richie with 48 tackles also missed 9. So pretty much exactly double the amount of tackles that Bodie made. Again, positional differences, but you would have to say that tackle completion rate is a fair bit nicer. But then again, if you're at fullback, often the chances you're being put into an awkward situation to make that tackle, that can be true. But yes, defensively, Richie's numbers are also a bit easier on the eye. Again, with that kind of risk-reward thing, though, you got to wonder, is Richie conceding more penalties? And the short answer is no. No, he's not. He conceded 3 in Super Rugby Aotearoa, whereas Bodie conceded 5. So there you have it. Now, stats in rugby, they're only as useful as you want them to be. It's not baseball, as I've said before, where it's kind of a one-on-one contest. Bodie's playing for the Blues at fullback most of the time. Richie's playing for the Crusaders at 10 all of the time. There's a lot of different factors that go into these games. How much possession does your team have? What role have they got you playing? Are you a fullback who sits there and guards thing at the back, or are you often coming into first receiver? There's a bunch of variables, but I would certainly say that my gut feeling, and I'm sure most of you guys, that Richie had a phenomenal season in Super Rugby Aotearoa, it's in the numbers. Bodie by no means was bad. I think he was very consistent and an assured pair of hands for the Blues, which was something very useful. Did he set the world alight? Was he looking like World Player of the Year material? Probably not. But that just is what it is. You guys let me know your thoughts if you're picking an All Blacks team today. Would any of you have Bodie at 10? Would you potentially have Bodie at 15? Would you have Bodie in the 23-22 jersey on the bench? Would he make your squad at all? It's a good question. I'm keen to get your guys' feedback on it. But it was a little bit of fun. And cheers guys. I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.